Hey guys, and welcome to the AlphaFerg Challenge of the Week. I'm AlphaFerg, and this is week 3. We're going to be talking about Proxy Fast Expands, taking bases that no one expects just because you can. I'm really excited because I actually did get some replays unlike last week, so big thanks to the people who submitted. I'm going to be showing you 2 replays that were submitted, and then one that was from a CSL match that included a Proxy Fast Expand. So I'm really excited. Let's go into... This is StarCraft music? Yeah, this is StarCraft music. Wow, I got freaked out there for a minute, because usually I don't have music on this loud. It's creeping me out. Okay. Into week 3, let's do this one first. Okay. So... this is gonna be, hang on, change my settings. Sorry, StarCraft is acting weird today because it's down, the server's down. So I'm actually in offline mode doing all this. So this is gonna be Pinky, the red Terran player, against UCD Esports, the blue one. And there's gonna be a ZVT on Antigua Shipyard, and I'm kind of excited to show you the Proxy Fast Expand. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because nothing really happens right now. Pinky is just going to do a standard wall-in, get his barracks there, while UCD Esports is going to go up and he is going to get double gas so he can have lots of supply there and put down a spawning pool. Pause. So where does he expand? He expands to his natural, but he also expands way across the map in his opponent's third base. What? Yeah, this is going to be a double fast expand, one of which is not at his third, it's at his opponent's third. So what can you do with this kind of forward position? Well, you can just abuse the close proximity to your opponent's base. As opposed to building roaches in your main, why don't you just use the larva at this base to build roaches and have them walk that much less distance across the map? How crazy is that? That's what you can do. Alright, so before us fast forward again, just to show, because nothing really pays off with this base yet. Pinky is going to be getting some fast Hellions. They're going to be moving across the map in their own time. Wow. Replays really don't like responding well. But what's going to happen is UCD Esports is intelligently fending off these Hellions, putting down 3 spine crawlers, because what's going to happen? All he has to do is make sure his economy is fine behind these spine crawlers, and he can attack from this position. You don't actually have to build units anywhere here, because you have this very strong defense. What you can do is just build units over here to attack and totally catch the Terran player off guard. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. There's Hellions getting up here, but they're not going to break a 2-queen, 3 spine crawler wall. That is about as safe as you can get in this kind of a position. Moving up the spine crawlers, just getting some good position, spreading creep, very smart stuff. And the Terran player is now expanding. Pinky is going to be taking his natural and playing really safe, especially because he has this forward position. What he's probably thinking is going on behind here. If there's a lot of roaches, you want these bunkers here. And it looks like UCD Esports is actually choosing to mine here, which is kind of interesting decision, but I'll show you in a few minutes why he's doing that. It's actually really smart. And these Hellions are just going to keep the Zerg player in his base. That's okay, losing a few Zerglings there. What's going on? Okay, so I'm actually going to pause it right now, because this is very important in the match, in the decision-making of UCD Esports. He has a lair, he has 2 gas in his main, he has 2 gas in his natural, and he has 2 gas in this third. He's on 6 gas right now. Well, the Terran player is only on like 1.5. This only has 1 harvester on it. With 6 gas, he will be able to build so many units, so many Mutalisks, and look at this, he's putting down the Spire. You can already see his gas starting to skyrocket. It's almost up at 600 right now. But by the time the Spire is finished, he'll be able to build so many Mutalisks, and as long as he just holds this base, it doesn't even matter if he holds this base because he's already benefiting from the gas. So the longer he holds this base, just the longer he has that gas income. And because he has these spine crawlers here, even putting one back here to protect his mineral line, he will be so safe against his Hellions, and he's basically set unless Pinky decides to push. One thing I wanted to point out is you can actually take this base anywhere you want to, because as long as it doesn't get scouted, and take a look at where Pinky's scouted. Everywhere but these third bases. So and these were even the initial SCVs, so he's pretty safe. He could have taken any of these bases and be equally as fine. The Spire is almost done. He has 1,500 gas right now. He's going to get so many Mutalisk. In fact, he has to start focusing on getting mineral income because his gas is doing totally fine. The Spire completes. He has a macro hatch on the way in his main, and all that Pinky has right now are 19 Marines, 2 tanks, and 6 Hellions, whereas he'll be able to build almost 20 mutas in about a minute. And he already has flyer attacks on the way. That's going to be great, especially when you're going this very heavy gas income kind of stuff. And UCD Esports is going to be fine. We're just going to fast forward a little bit because nothing much is moving. Boom! 19 Mutalisks. That's insane. And he's going to add on to this. He's already skyrocketing back up, 400 gas. He just ran out of larva. But you can see he's getting it ready. More. He built 5 more Mutalisks. 24 mutas at a time. There's only 22 Marines. He's going to have more mutas than Marines. Isn't that crazy? Fortunately for Pinky, he's actually getting lots of Marines out, so this won't do too much damage. But this is basically the strength of this Proxy Fast Expand. This one aspect of just being able to get 6 gas. You can see he's not really using the mineral line. He has a drone here. He's actually spreading creep, which is another use of the Proxy Fast Expand if you're pushing or trying to deny a base. But that extra gas means you can get so many mutas. It's before 15 minutes in the game, and he had 25 mutas in production. In fact, he'll be able to build 5 more right now if he wants to. You can get so many mutas with this kind of build. And that's really all I wanted to show. This actually turns into a base race in a minute. He loses a ton of mutas. Actually, he lost a ton of mutas to that one engagement, and because he took the third here, he's going to lose it, so the proxy third is now gone, so this kind of devolves from what I wanted to show you guys, but I'll show you the resolution in super fast motion, just because I want to show you guys what happens. UCD Esports ends up getting a ton of roaches, and losing his third, but it turns into a base race, because he just attacks with all the roaches. And so UCD Esports has a giant roach mutaball, which is going to totally take over this base, but he's losing his main to marine tank. You could even pull your drones and try to attack, and it turns into expanding way across the map. You can see there go the SCVs trying to get away. Some of the drones get away and build a base back here, and roaches just aren't great with base racing at all. Mutas are, though. But it didn't go so well. But it turns into drones killing hatcheries and Hellions here, and this is the last base, but then there's another base, and there's this last expansion. And actually there's no GG because he just loses all his buildings. So that is the first replay I wanted to show you. So, whoops. Wow. So, the point I wanted to show you that replay was how much gas he had so early, and really, because he didn't turn it into a full mining base, the purpose of that base is just to have that giant gas bubble so you can get infestors or mutalisks, or if you're another race, you know, you can just get more gas, you can get upgrades, and it's not too heavy of an investment, and it'll pay off later if it doesn't get killed, because then it's just a normal expansion. Stuff like that. Okay, so now we're going to go into the second replay, which is going to be, ooh, this is a nice one. My hands just made a noise. So this is going to be Slot versus Imbu in a PvP. Alright, I know what you're thinking. PvP, you never want to expand. You never want to expand in PvP unless you're totally safe, because if you get 4-gated, you just lose if you do a fast expand. So how does this turn into a proxy fast expand? I'm really happy this replay got submitted. It was really, really, really good. Really solid stuff. I was happy. So both players open up almost exactly the same way. It's going to be Gateway, Assimilator, playing pretty even. Slot's a little bit ahead. There's the Cyber Core, getting out of Zealot. Lots of different stuff you can do. Looks like he is going for the double Stalker, but there's Zealots coming out. Zealot Stalker. Pretty standard stuff. This is PvP. They're not all-inning at all. This is just kind of standard stuff. Yeah. Imbu throwing down a Twilight Council, and so is Slot. So they're both going Twilight Council. There's some blink going on. Stalkers, nothing too crazy. Putting down a forward pylon, but canceling it. Yeah. And taking a look, I'm going to pause it really quick just so I can show you exactly what's happening. 3-gate, blink, robo. 3-gate, blink, robo. So these two players are doing the exact same thing. Little variances in what units they're producing, but, you know, it's more or less the same. And the first kind of push happens. There's a proxy pylon down here, but nothing too crazy. Until right... Okay, we'll put its normal speed. Until 400. Okay. I know you're proxy expanding. Okay, he's gonna proxy expand. Boom! The Nexus! Proxy fast expanding in PvP to a totally unpredictable location. The only reason this Fog of War is kind of gone is because the probe scouted there initially. No way in hell will an opponent predict in a PvP situation where he's rushing 3-gate robo, will he predict that you're expanding over here? Oh my gosh. This game gets crazy, guys. You can see both players getting the Observer out, and right now, okay, so this timing actually sucks for Imbu, because he just spent 400 minerals on a Nexus, and Slot just spent all that money on Army. You can see, just in the unit count, 9 Stalkers to 7. He does have a Sentry and a Zealot, but 9 Stalkers are very strong, so this is the timing he has to hold. He already loses a Stalker, but he just force fields his ramp. He's going to stay safe. He's not going to try to push out against Slot in this kind of position, because he just lost 400 minerals throwing down this expansion. See, they're both even on probes. So this is actually pretty good, but Slot can overcome with that 400 mineral gap until this base becomes a mining base, or until Slot chooses to expand himself. You can see he's getting out an Immortal. It doesn't look like this is going to stop. He's even using this Observer to get this really good forward position. And will he snipe the Robo Bay? It's going down! Oh my god, that sucks. Right before the Immortal comes out, a huge loss for Imbu. But he's even getting a Forge up here. He's getting a Nexus. He's building a second base. So as long as he withstands the storm where he's behind, he'll be okay. You can see he's just scrambling around his base, trying to prevent Slot from getting in. Slot, of course, is just applying a lot of pressure right now, but he's not super trying to kill Imbu. In fact, he's just hanging out. And I believe, yep, he's going to expand himself. So this is just some pressure so he can expand behind it. But little does he know, there's a Nexus up here getting upgrades, and there's a Dark Shrine, and he's getting mining already from this base. So this is actually going to be pretty good. Here comes another push with that Immortal. There's still no Immortal. This Robo is not even built yet, so this push is scary, but with that Sentry, he's just going to force field his ramp again and just not die. And Slot's not scouting this at all, and the Dark Shrine is going to be done soon, so Imbu will have his own way of applying pressure. And see, now the Nexus finishes. So now they're even on Nexuses, but Imbu got a 6 probe lead because of this move. And if he chrono boosted out probes, he'd be even better, but he didn't want to die, so that's okay. Losing that pylon, Slot is just using his advantages to take down stuff, but Imbu has an economic lead, and you can see he's producing a lot more. He has this tech here, and I think something happens soon, waiting for it. Imbu is now focusing more on building stuff. You can see he's just getting more gateways. He's on his 2-base economy, and there was a Dark Templar that got 8 kills. So Imbu is now 10 probes ahead. In PvP, that's super advantageous, and it looks like he's been losing the whole time. So that's great. And in fact, you can see this early fast proxy fast expand means you get more gas than your opponent. Slot is working off 3 gas, while Imbu has 6 gas going or 4 gas going very strong. And he's getting a lot more upgrades, as Slot doesn't even have any upgrades. I don't think he even has a Forge. He is going for Colossi, so that's going to be beneficial, but now Imbu is expanding. One thing I wanted to point out, because Slot was able to put down his expansion fairly standard, but Imbu didn't. And you can see when he pushed in with those Stalkers and Immortal, he was trying to kill the expansion, but there wasn't any. So if you don't expand, then the other player might think there's something like this going on. But he will expand, and this is a little late at 15 minutes in this kind of game, but he also has gotten a lot of tech, so it might be well hidden. Unfortunately, flying the Warp Prism right over this pylon, and the Warp Prism's okay. But Slot's actually just building a nice amount of units, but you can see that Imbu's 3-base economy is going to start soon, and he's going to have 2 Robo Colossi, he's got Thermal Lance, he's got level 2 upgrades. Slot doesn't have any upgrades. He's just started to charge. Imbu just has a solid lead right now. In fact, he's even getting a Templar Archive because his gas is starting to balloon, because he's going to be on 6 gas soon, which you don't expect because it looks like a 2-base. So he'll be able to get Archons or Templar or Storm or something like that. He'll be doing fine. He's even building some Dark Templar over here with this Warp Prism, just to prevent any sort of 3-base, so he can stay in the economic lead. Moving the Dark Templar around so he can take the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Good stuff. And you can see his supply is just getting way ahead. This base has still not been scouted. And when the final engagement comes, it looks like both armies are starting to move towards each other. Never mind. Dark Templar is here. Okay, yeah, get scouted by the Observer. Yeah, this game's moving a little slow, but I can't blame Slot because he's behind and he doesn't know why. He still has no idea that there's a full base over here. In fact, even getting gateways up here using the pylon power. And when this engagement finally comes, you can see there's Archons. These units are spread very well and just clumping up Slot's army. And with the Archons, this engagement is going to go way in Imbu's favor. You can see he's now 50 supply ahead. And this 3rd base is only starting now for Slot, and it's just not going to work. And then I'll fast forward through the game, because now you see what a proxy fast expand can do. You just have more economy, and you get away with it, and importantly, you have a lot more gas, so you can get upgrades and tech. He's even getting Warp Prism speed, all that fun stuff. And how long does this game go? Yeah, this game doesn't last very much longer. In fact, just look at this gas production. What Imbu has done, he's gotten 3 Stargate, and he's getting a fleet beacon, so he can actually build carriers if he chooses to. Not that I would ever recommend it. This is just crazy. Getting caught with the counter Archons. Unfortunately, he's grouping up his Colossus. And these spread out Colossus just means they're going to live longer, and Imbu does lose his whole army, but he's still way ahead in economy, and he's actually getting a ton of Void Rays and double Colossus, double carrier production. He's getting the catapult upgrade for the carriers, and there's going to be almost nothing here that can fight the carriers because he's focusing on killing the Colossi, but he doesn't have any Stalkers. Gonna lose this base, but as soon as this army hits, you can see the Void Rays are doing tons of damage, and there are the carriers. Yeah, Slot's gonna GG. Proxy Fast Expand. Pretty good stuff. One more replay. This is from the CSL match, and this is Grandmasters playing. Actually, Eminem Dial is just Masters player, but Ruxin's definitely Grandmaster. And this is going to be... oh my gosh, loading slowly. A ZVZ on Metalopolis. This match actually is really interesting for a number of reasons, and I'll show you why. Both players playing very nice. The Overlord's kissing. And they're just going to get up to 14, 15 drones. And Ruxin is fast expanding to the gold on Metalopolis. Both players are fast expanding here, but Dial is taking his natural. Ruxin's taking the gold. And what he'll be able to do once this finishes... and he's just going to get the gas and get the spawning pool like normal. And it even gets scouted, which is unfortunately just kind of what's going to happen on this map. But he transfers all of his drones immediately over. And what that means is immediate saturation of these mineral fields. And that's going to cause so much more income just because each one gives you that much more minerals. It's 7 or something, or 9, I don't know. It's a lot. And as long as he protects this base, as long as he protects these drones, his income on the same number of drones is going to be that much better. This is a very unique way of using the Proxy Fast Expand, but you can see his economy is starting to balloon out of control. He's getting Banelings, he's getting lots of Zerglings, and he's going to be able to push in here, and as long as he applies pressure, Dial will not have the opportunity to come and kill him. So there is a Spinecrawler here, so Dial is well protected. But as long as this base is totally fine, and a little bit of Zerglings getting in there, he'll be fine. And even moving in with some Banelings. Oh no, he almost gets into the main. He does get around the Queens, and these Banes are going to do a ton of damage. They're just trying to get towards the drones. One explodes all over the Lings, and Banelings coming in to take out a lot of the drones. Taking a look at the economy, Ruxin's up 2 drones, and he's on the gold base, and he'll just be producing a lot. You can see Dial's trying to get roaches out to defend, but Ruxin is just playing smart, not losing his base. And, oh, huge Baneling hit there, taking out like 8 Zerglings. Dial, unfortunately, is trying to drone up and use these roaches, but I don't think he has much to counter. These Lings losing Queens, more Banelings coming in, Lings taking out another Queen, losing a ton of drones, using the Proxy Fast Expand. Look at the economy, it's 16 drones before right now. There are roaches out on the map, but Dial is pretty much done with now. You can see even the Lings dancing here. GG, Dial leaves the game. And, yeah. So, Proxy Fast Expands are good for your economy, and for surprise. That's about all I wanted to show you guys, so I'll just leave it right here with a very short episode. Looking forward to next week. Next week, put Marauders in bunkers. Why? Because they get +1 range, and they're actually crazy. They're really good for fending off roach pushes, but I want to see what creative stuff you guys can do, because putting Marauders in bunkers means you can stim them and just have super grenade cannons coming out of bunkers with +1 range, super fast. Bunkers are pretty good. Alright guys, that's about it. I'll see you guys later.